So today I'm going to make coconut cake, which the recipe comes from a favorite restaurant in Southport, Connecticut called Pachi. Now I'm going to start by I have buttered and floured my pan. I've also cut out a piece of parchment paper. I just put the parchment paper and traced around it with a pencil and cut it out, and then obviously turn the other side towards where the food is going to go. So I buttered and floured my pan, butter and flour the parchment paper as well. So then I'm going to mix together. I have here 2 cups of flour, and I have a teaspoon of baking powder and a teaspoon of salt. Not baking soda, baking powder. So we're going to sift this together, and then we're going to go over to the mixer and we're going to mix together our other ingredients. So I have beaten 2 sticks of unsalted room temperature butter. To that, I'm going to add 1 1/3 cups of white sugar. And we're going to just mix that together. So let's mix. So the butter and sugar are now mixed together. To that, I'm going to add 3 eggs, a teaspoon of vanilla, and then we're going to add, we have 1 cup of half and half here in our dry ingredients. So we're going to add our eggs, and it helps to have them be at room temperature. I'm going to add them one at a time. Then we're going to add our teaspoon of vanilla. Scrape the sides down. Make sure we get everything off the bottom and the sides. And after we're done doing this, we're going to make a chocolate espresso sauce to pour over this cake. This is just a really delicious cake. Okay, so our wet ingredients are mixed. So now we're going to alternate our flour and our half and half into this recipe. So we'll start with a little bit of flour. We'll put about 1/3 of the flour in here. Put it on low. Then we're going to add 1/3 cup of milk. More flour. More half and half. And then the rest of the flour. Okay, so we're just going to let that mix. Scrape it down a little bit. Make sure we're getting everything together. Everything gets evenly mixed. Just going to let it mix for another minute, and then we'll be ready to put it in our pan. So the cake mix has been mixed, and I'm going to add to that 1.5 cups of desiccated coconut. Now this is, as I said, is not the normal coconut that you buy in the grocery store. You probably won't find it in the the baking aisle in a grocery store. You more likely have to go to the ethnic aisle, and you will find it maybe with Spanish foods or Indian foods. So we're just going to mix this together, and then we're just going to put it in our pan. The oven is preheating at 350 degrees, and we're going to cook it for about 45 to 50 minutes. And then we'll make our chocolate sauce. This is really a very hot seller in that restaurant, and to have this recipe is just amazing. Okay. So put it in the oven, 45 to 50 minutes at 350 degrees. Okay, so the cake is out of the oven and it's cooled. And you can see the nice golden brown color that it's got. Now this cake is a one-layer cake. I mean, certainly you could double the recipe if you wanted to make it a big high cake. I've actually done that before. But this is the way it's served in the restaurant, is a single layer with a chocolate sauce on top. So now I'm going to make the chocolate sauce. So I have here a cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. I'm going to add a half a cup of heavy cream. And what gives it its great flavor is a teaspoon of espresso powder. So I'm just going to give that a quick mix. And I'm going to put this in the microwave. And I'm going to put it in for 1 minute to start. We're going to take it out, we're going to stir it, and if it needs to be cooked a little bit more, we'll put it back in a little bit more. Or you could do it over a double boiler on your stove. So we put it in the oven, put it in the microwave, set it for 1 minute, and then we'll check it. Okay, so a minute is up, so let's take a look. So you can see it's starting to melt, and the heat will keep melting it, so we just have to watch it and be careful how much longer we cook this for. It may actually be, I'm going to do another 30 seconds. And then I think at that point it'll be perfect. I can smell that espresso in here. Okay, so it's probably perfect now. So let's just keep stirring it. Take it out, bring it up here, and I'm going to keep stirring it till everything is mixed together. And then we'll just pour it over our cake, and you'll have the most delicious cake. This is really a very rich dessert, so a small piece of this goes a long way. So we're going to let it just cool down a little bit, and then we're going to put it on the cake. Okay, so I've given the chocolate sauce a little bit of a whisk, so it smooths everything out. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to put it on the cake. I'm going to start by pouring it in the center and then working it around. And this parchment paper around the edges really comes in handy here, because otherwise we'd have a big mess. A little bit more. And then just work it around and let it just drip down the sides, and just doesn't have to be perfect. And there we have it. So what we'll do is we'll give it a second to set, and then I'll take off the parchment paper and it's ready to serve. So now the best part of making this cake is tasting it. This makes the perfect ending to a great dinner. I love the chocolate, I love the coconut. It almost reminds me of an almond joy. So if you're looking for a special dessert, this is it.